going on, guys? It is your boy Seso here, bringing you guys a Photoshop tutorial here today. Bringing you guys a cool little displacement ghosting kind of effect going on here with this banner design. I'm gonna get right into it. You can see basically my go-to for this and this little experiment kind of banner thing I did was I went together just to put my scrapbook text effect, my abstract texture banner, and then kind of this as well, and also where I got this little part right here was my first or one of my most viewed banner tutorials where I did the textile like that. So I put it all together, ended up doing something like this, which is pretty freaking cool. The before and after is really ridiculous. I'll show you guys in a second. But the whole effect here is we have the cool little glow tear effect that I came up with, this little part right here coming out here. A nice little cool displacement. A ghosting kind of effect going on here. It looks very raspy and just very dope in my opinion. Over here, it's nice little blur. We have motion blur, Gaussian blur all together. Just throw it around in certain spots to give that nice little, all around cool depth of field kind of vision. Not really, but you know what I mean. Just to add something and make it look a little more cooler. Over here you can kind of see almost all the things I did. I did the glow tear. What else is this thing called? I'm trying to figure it out. Hold on, I gotta remember the name. It's in filter gallery. What is it called? Yeah, glowing edges is there as well. We have it's just a lot of, it's a cool little layering technique that I want to show you guys. So here's a before, before anything, look at the big difference. This is a pretty big, even looking at the symbol here will kind of show you guys how many layers there are in this thing. To get it looking like this, it involves a lot of time, I would say. A lot of time. It took me an hour and a half-ish to go about this and get it, kind of what I wanted it, want it to look like. I could probably spend a lot more time on it, but, that's just an hour and a half of me doing, X, Y, and Z as well. So, it looks freaking dope in my opinion. I want to show you guys how I did it. The fonts that I'm using here, this one's called Warbrush. I believe they're all from defont.com. And the design, I believe, is called, something sans. Yeah, Gil Sans MT extended something bold. All that is from what I have here. I don't know if that's a default font or not, but it looked good for what I want it to look like. And then we have kind of a little surrounding of the banner, the text, a little black and white stroke thing going on here. A nice little box in the background. There's a circle that's black and white as well. Right behind the A is a nice little simple pen tool, the N as well. And then these little things right here just from the actual background taken out, and we kind of put it in front of everything. And then also we have a nice little texture on it as well. We're gonna see it more here. They're from my own texture. I'm making a texture pack as well. It's gonna be coming out very freaking soon. So just let that know that I use these three textures for this little project here, and these are all took with my camera, my professional Canon camera and stuff like that. So that'll be coming out soon, as well as a displacement map. There will be a displacement map for you guys to use in the description down below. I will also show you how to use one, or even how to make one. It's just by using a texture, and I don't know if they all look the same, but I'm gonna figure that out myself and trying to see if I can get a different displacement so I can put those inside my texture pack. All right, so I'm gonna stop talking for a second, and we're actually gonna start this up right now. The pictures that I use, as you can see, like I said, were from whatchamacallit, the Call of Duty media. As you can see here, I got all the pictures from here. I used you can see the ones I used. That one, right? I used that one, and another one, this one right here. So I just dragged them in. I just clicked on it, and then I just went right click, view background image. You can do this for mostly any game you want. Just go to the media or the forums, gallery, anything like that that says that. You can find some official HD pictures for you guys to use. And so yeah, I'm done talking. Really quickly, I want to show you guys how to make a displacement map, because that's one of the biggest things that I'm going to be using in this video here today. So to make a displacement map, you need a PDF. Displacement is a PDF. So if I were to go really quickly to a new layer, I'll fill this in really quickly just because. Go to filter, it's under distort, and then it's under displace. And then you see these little simple little horizontal scale and vertical scale. Keep those all default 10-10, stretch the fit, and also repeat edged thingamajigger. Press OK, and you'll find yourself. I already have 3 displacement maps of my own. I'll give you guys number 1. This is the one I'm going to also use in the video here today. So pretty much you click on this PDF and you press OK, and it gives you a really cool displacement to it. You'll see in a second. You can't really see it because I just wanted to show you guys how to do it or perform it, but for any reason, if you guys don't want to use mine, or you want to learn how to make displacement maps or what they actually are, it's basically a texture of any sort. For instance, I'm going to use this one right here, and pretty much the texture itself, all you have to do is save the texture, right? Save as whatever, a PDF, wherever it's going to be at, right? You save it as a PDF, Once you save it as a PDF, you can save it to wherever you want to go to or whatever. And that's basically literally it. You're saving a picture as a PDF, and then when you have the choice to choose a displacement under like the store displace or whatever, right? When you press OK and you just find it, you click on it, right, and you open it. It basically takes the image and distorts it that fits the I guess like the curvature or like you know what I mean, like the levels of the actual texture, so you get something really cool. All right, so I'm gonna stop talking because it's like I'm talking a lot, but it's something you gotta know, something you would probably want to know, and so yeah, pretty much that's it. Now we can actually get going. Okay, you can see this one more time before I stop. Right, here we go. This is what it looks like. I'm just gonna make this red. All right, so first of all, I did do a seamless cut here, as you can see right here. The picture itself, let me just get it really quick. The picture is this one, right? Right here. This is the picture, and as you can see, it's seamless on the other side, right? All I had to do was, and I'll just show you guys on like, maybe just take this one for example. All I had to do was, right, I made it fit from like the top of his head. As you can see, the top of his head hits, and so his leg, or like the gun barrel in this case, hits like the top and the bottom of the banner design. That way, when you do pen tool this out, let's just say if I pen tool this out right here like that, right, I went all the way around, really nice cuts. This is just for example, and I right clicked, make selection, I pressed OK, press delete on my keyboard, rasterize it, press delete on my keyboard, and then all of a sudden I have a seamless look to it. So if I put any other background behind it, like for example this one right here that I have, if I put any other background behind it, you'll find out that it's just a very seamless look to it, and then you get something like this, right? Looks pretty simple. It's very, very simple. It looks pretty cool is what I meant to say, and it's very simple to do. So yeah, that's all I really had to do for the seamless cut, and then basically we are good to start the layering, because there's going to be a lot of layering. I don't know if I'm going to look exactly like this, because like I said, this took me a pretty long time, and it's whatever. You'll find your way. It's just a whole bunch of work, and at the end, I really do it looks really freaking dope in my opinion. So if you're into this kind of style, let's get going. All right, so pretty much there's going to be a lot of control clicking on the originals here. So this is, I'll just group these together and call this the originals, right? And we'll just make this color yellow or green or whatever, doesn't matter. And what I'm going to basically do is I'm going to press Control J and for this group, and I'm going to make a duplicate of it, and then press Control E, and that way I have one single little duplicate of it. So that way I can displace this one without messing up the original, and I can always go back if I need to, or etc, etc. When I do layer things together, I am going to be changing the blend mode so they won't look the exact same, and also move them a little bit and kind of get that ghostly feel to it. So pretty much I'm going to go what I did before, right? I'm going to go to Filter, Distort, Displace. Now this is if you downloaded my displacement maps that are in the description down below, or if you made your own by saving any texture as a PDF and then going through this process right here, and then now finding your PDF that you just named, maybe displacement map number 1 or whatever. Mine are just saying number 1. This is a texture that's inside this displacement map or in this PDF. I press OK or open, right? And then you got this. It's very simple to do. As you can see, it just displaces it. It's kind of like, I try to get this kind of effect by using like, things like Ripple and stuff like that. There is no way you can get this kind of effect unless you do like a displacement map. So maybe not no way is like, but this is the easiest, quickest, most simple way to do it. So what I do now is just, I'm going to go through these layer styles really quickly because like I have no set order when I do this. Although lighten does look pretty cool. So if I just go to lighten, I'm going to use while using the movement tool, right? The first tool in Photoshop here, I'm going to use my arrow keys, just move it like 1 or 2 times to the left, and then like maybe like 5 or 6 times up, like something like that, right? That way you can already start getting the ghostly feel to it, but you also have to lower the opacity down just so you can see what's also behind it, which is our original, right? So 80 percentage, that'd be pretty good. So what I can do with this, I'm just gonna kind of erase a little bit on the bottom because I don't want this really hard edge here. You can see like a hard edge cut. I'm gonna erase that a little bit. I did keep that for like this right here, or I did actually get rid of it, but I did have it for a very long time. But at the end, I just didn't like it anymore. So like what you can do here is just like kind of like pick and choose maybe what you kind of want to erase and what you don't want to have like extremely distorted. For me, I mostly kept like the left side of like maybe like whatever character, whatever, just really displaced. Things like very eye-opening like symbols and stuff like that I wanted to keep displaced. Things over here doesn't have to be super displaced. Something like this over here, I'm just like picking and choosing. You see, I erased pretty much a good amount. But if I click and go, and you can see it still looks, pretty good. So I'm going to do is I'm going to erase it just a little bit more over here maybe. And then what I'll do is I'll make another duplicate of the original. So Control J, Control E to merge it together, bring it up top really quickly, and we're going to do something else. So either you can use different multiple displacements, or you can do what I'm going to do right now. I'm going to go to Filter, Filter Gallery, and I'm going to use glowing edges with these settings at width 1, brightness 15, and then your smoothness 1. Press OK, and I'm going to see if I can figure it and use this out for the little layering technique. So I'm going to fiddle through these layer styles again. That's too much going on. This is too negative looking. Like, no, no. All right. I'm starting to think I didn't use this, but I most likely did. We'll just do this. We'll put it on lighten again, and we'll just lower this opacity down a pretty good amount, like maybe like 25 or 30. 25 looks okay. We'll take it. We'll pick and choose, erase some spots. I really don't want this gun to have that ugly look to it. And the background looks okay with it on, so I'm not going to erase too much in the background. This looks pretty good over here. Maybe not like this really harsh like tube here. I'll make it like the end over there. I'm using an eraser to erase this, by the way. I could be using like whatchamacallit, like this like little masking thing, and I just use black and white as a brush to erase. Like black would erase and then white would put it back in, as you can see. You want to see it just like that. And if I just want to bring it back, I would just use a white brush. And then click over here if you want to do that as well, but I'm erasing it because I know for sure I'm probably not going to go back to it, because this is very like, it's not like I'm not doing anything like out of the books. Like I'm just really just picking and choosing some spots to erase to make it look good. So I'm going to go ahead and move my I'm just going to move it a little bit, not too heavy though, so maybe like down 2 with the mouse on the mouse keyboard, or whatchamacallit, mouse arrows, maybe like to the right a couple times. Nothing crazy, because I want to kind of still get this kind of like ghosting effect. So I can see there's a little bit of a problem up here with this helmet. I'm just going to erase a little bit. I like this right here. This is too much. This is a little bit too much. That's okay. This is kind of way too much. That's not that bad. Maybe like around here. Alright, so what I'll do now is I'll make another duplicate of the original, and I'll go ahead and maybe just put another displacement map on. So I'm going to go to Filter, Distort, Displace, and I'm going to use number 2 this time. And we get more of it like a kind of like a very more to it. I don't know. There's a different, you know, texture, so it's going to give you some kind of different displacement. I like this one. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and, which one are we going to use? This is pretty badass looking. So is that. There's pretty good like layer modes to this. I'm just flipping through them with my scroll wheel. Not doing anything crazy. I think I'm going to put it on darken color, actually. Put it on like 40% opacity, right? And I'm going to layer this one. I'm going to move my mouse maybe like down to the right a little bit, right? And I'm going to take my eraser, go through it a little bit. And the more you do this, it's just the more it's going to look cool. I probably did this about like 7 or 6 times, I think. Most likely for the 200 likes on the video, don't forget to like the video. 200 likes on the video equals, it's going to below. It'll most likely be the PSD, so you can see how many layers I did. Even probably like copy it, but like, no matter what, you're not gonna get the same exact, just because I probably did different layers, or different like layer modes or whatever that you might not get, or different effects or whatever. But this is fine for me. I'm gonna say like that's pretty good. So I just add a little something there, right? More in his helmet, got a little more stuff going on here. So last but not least, I think I'm gonna add just a very simple texture right now. Why not? I'm just gonna throw this one in here. Very simple texture. You can use whatever texture you guys want to use. You can wait till my texture pack comes out. But if, of course, you're not waiting, go ahead and just type in textures in Google and find yourself a nice little text that you like. I'm going to put this on overlay. And I'm also going to make sure that it's not a color. So Control U. Bring this saturation all the way down. Press OK. Overlay. And then there we go. Now for this texture, I'm going to put it pretty, like, not too high, but not too low, maybe like 25 or so. And I'm just going to erase around a little bit, because I don't want it to be super heavy right now. Nothing really crazy going on with the texture, just a little bit. And we have something like this, right? So as you can see, we already did a very lot. So we have this very clean-cut picture that we did already, and we put our first displacement map on it, moved it a little bit with the arrow keys on our keyboard, or you can just, like, take your V, which is a shortcut for this movement tool here, and, like, move it just like so. We also put another one on here that got like a nice little glow on his mask here. whatever, another one, and then another one. So you can keep building onto this, and then sooner or later you can get something that looks like this. But of course, this is just done with a lot of work, and we're not really that done. I have still a couple more things we can show you guys. So pretty much, the glow tear effect I did use in this. So what I wanted to do was I wanted to hold Shift, click on everything we just had, right? All the pictures that we just did. Control J and Control E to merge all that together. That way I have this entire thing that has displacement maps on them and then a show. What I want to do with this is I'm going to go ahead and take my W, click W on your keyboard, and then this is going to bring up the magic wand tool. Make sure you have the magic wand tool selected and not the quick selection tool. That way when you click around things, you can get like, you know, you can click like very odd shapes. So I'm going to put my tolerance up to like 10 or so, or maybe 12. The higher your tolerance, the more you can probably see yourself clicking. I'm going to click right here, and I see it clicks everything in this like one little shape or whatever, but if I put my tolerance down to like, I don't know, 2, if I click in the same exact spot, it's not going to give me as much. So I want is a little bit of room, so like 12 tolerance is good enough for me. That selects more of that one similar color, right? I'm going to go ahead and hold Shift on my keyboard, and I'm just going to click around in like, you know, spots that I think would look good. Maybe like, kind of want to get something around here. It's not really catching anything, so I'm just going to forget about it. Let's catch something right there. It looks good. That looks good over there. You know, something around his shoulder, his arm. Just clicking it multiple times. And nothing crazy that I'm doing that's really hard. That's a lot of click right there. All right, this is okay. Maybe like something around here. That's too much. That's fine. So now that I have all this selected, and this is basically like a dummy kind of layer, right? I'm going to get rid of this in a second, but I'm going to make a new layer. And we just press this little, you know, thing down here, or Control Shift N to make a new layer. And then pretty much while this is selected, you can put, you know, you can right click on this and then fill it right. Oh, you have to be on another like a marquee tool selection. So like this one right here, like you can go to the rectangle marquee tool, which is M on your keyboard. So you can either right click, fill, and put a color in that way, or if it doesn't really matter what color we're using because we're not going to actually put a color in. But what I'm just going to do is I'm going to press Alt Backspace, and it quick fills a color right in there. Doesn't matter what it is, we're going to get rid of the color anyway. And then pretty much Control D to deselect, or right click deselect when you have like the rectangle marquee tool selected in your toolkit, right? So pretty much I can get rid of this layer. If I want to keep it, I'll just, you know, I'll probably just put it a different color so I know I can delete it later, like orange, you know, in your head you're saying like delete later or whatever, right? So it's just not like a dead layer, just so you know. So with this layer that we just had, we're going to take our fill, lower it all the way down to 0. That way anything that's shown on the layer is not going to be there, but when we put layer modes on it, the layer modes will be able to be seen, but not the actual picture. So in that case, basically like little parts of this little picture is still like, it's still there, but when we put like something like a stroke on it, just like so, on like 1 opacity or so, and we put it on a nice little white color here, and pretty much you get something like this. And we can put this on overlay, the blend mode on overlay, and then you get something that looks like this. And it gives you more just fun. I don't know if like brightness, I don't know if drop shadow would work for this, but you can try drop shadow. I tried it in a couple spots. It's just like a fun thing you can do. Pull out some pieces if you want to. Something like this looks pretty freaking dope actually. But for this in case, I'm just gonna leave it, you know, clean with not popping anything out. So basically taking that layer, lowering the fill all the way down to 0, putting a stroke on it will give you guys this cool little glow tear effect is what I called it back in the day when I actually created this little silly effect here for like thumbnails and stuff. So pretty much now I want to actually delete it a little bit. I want to actually delete a little bit of this little effect here to make it look more broken, not so like, you know, filled apart like this. So I'm going to do some rasterize the layer. Rasterize the layer type. It's going to like change the blend mode off of the overlaid blend mode. So you're just going to put the actual layer on overlay, and there we have the same thing back here. So pretty much taking the eraser, we'll zoom in a little bit, and we'll just give itself a little erase, right? And so like there's not like really crazy pieces that are too big, but like something like this would be too much for me. Like right here would be too much. It would just annoy me. Like something like this for sure would annoy me. Something like that. All right, there we go. So it's kind of like a sneaky little effect that's just there, but you know, probably you won't really understand or actually see it at first. But like, given like the design feel of it and like, you know, show it to another designer, people will really understand the work you put into this kind of stuff. And it's not just, you know, the actual just picture. It's actually you creating this little cool picture that makes it look really dope. So, oops. And I want to move this layer because I like making sure it all lines up, right? So, there we go. So now we can just delete this layer, right? Now we have a cool little glow tear effect on this as well. So pretty much we're at the point where this is all really up to you and like what you really want to do with this, I'm gonna add another texture in here. We'll add like this one right here, and we'll zoom out a little bit, holding Alt, Control T, shrink this down, and I will go ahead and put this on overlay, maybe, right? Yeah, lower the opacity down on this, and I think this looks pretty clean like that. Okay, I do like this full-on texture going on here. I'm probably gonna erase it just a little bit, so I'm gonna rasterize a layer, take my eraser, just erase a couple spots. Now, also another thing I kind of forgot, and like it's just whatever, I'm going to show you guys anyway. This tutorial is probably going to be a lot longer than usual, but I want to show you guys the layering process. I want to really skip anything because I want to make sure it looks as close as possible to the actual example. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and just shift click and hold everything. Basically everything is going to be selected that you have in your new document here. And I'm going to press Control J to make a duplicate, Control E to merge it all together. And we're going to go ahead and use filter, blur, and like Gaussian blur. So we're going to click on Gaussian blur. We're going to put our pixels to about 3, excuse me. Press OK. I'm going to lower my opacity to maybe about, what's 35 like? Maybe like 40, right? A little bit of blur going on here, right? So I'm going to take my eraser, or if you want to use, like I said, like the little masking tool here, and like use a black and white brush. So black would be erase. If I press white, it'll put it back there. You can see that it went away and bring it back. So I can use my black brush here and just kind of go through these spots and give myself like, I don't know, no blur where I kind of want the blur. I want no blur here, no blur really on the gun, maybe on this guy's face. I don't really want no blur. Like the background, I want to kind of like blur a little bit out. So I'll blur like the entire left side of this out. I kind of like the field of view like that looks right there. That looks fine as well. So pretty much we just blurred a little bit of spots. So you can see like I'm not really too much going on, but like all this right here is blurred off. Like a lot of this on the top of his helmet's blurred off. You can see it right here, right? If my opacity was a lot higher, you probably see a lot more blur, but I don't want to like blur it too much. So that's good for me. If I wanted to, I can put a motion blur as well. I did do that for my example, but really not necessary. But you know what? It's whatever. I just want to show you guys that blurring it would be a cool little process, and figure out some stuff to bring out. And to finalize this like background part off, I'm gonna go to my exposure, which is located under your adjustments tab layer. So this little thing right here, and you want to go to exposure, and you just want to figure out like whatever picture you're using or whatever. You want to like flatten out the entire image. So just take your offset, which is in the middle of the exposure tool, and just drag it slowly, and then you'll find yourself like at a point where you're like, all right, this is perfectly perfect. You're looking for like the look that it looks like it's almost like a white sheet over the entire thing, so it's all like one exposure and it all looks like one entire picture. And then maybe if you want to take your gamma correction, move it up very slowly, and then you'll find yourself looking at like a very solid picture with no like depth really going on with besides like the blur you maybe put on. So if I just uncheck and check this again, you can see like there's no depth in this like little black spot right here where his helmet is, and like somewhere right here or like right here. Or like right here, if you just look at those spots, and you can see there's no real depth there anymore. It's just all one flat, nice looking picture. So we're pretty much almost done. Right now we're just going to show you guys a very simple thing where I'm going to just take a new layer, take my brush, and we'll go ahead and select any color. So I'm going to hold Alt when I have my brush selected, which is basically B on your keyboard for the shortcut, and you hold Alt while the brush is selected. You can see if you just right click, yeah, that's left. So left click, and you can see if I drag my mouse over like these spots of like, different colors on the banner, you can find yourself actually selecting the same exact color. And I'm just going to select like a nice little orange from this spot. So I'm going to select like maybe like this orange or something, right? Somewhere around the canvas, I'm going to select the color that like represents this brush selection, or select the color that matches with the actual banner design. So I'm going to click once like over here, once like right there. And I already know I'm going to put this on linear dodge add. Here we go, right? We're getting a little color in now. Very simple. Not much opacity. Maybe like even a little bit less, like 40%. I'll put another new layer, and I'll bring like an orange in, right? We'll take like 2 separate colors, right? And we'll go like here, and we'll go on this side. And we'll just put on linear dodge add again. And this orange is, I don't know, not too much going on. I'll just like maybe like erase a little bit. There we go. And that looks okay. So pretty much with using linear dodge add with this color, these very simple colors, right, that are on the actual banner design, when I put a brightness and contrast in, which is also in the adjustments layer, I'll take my brightness and put this up as well as my contrast. Oops, that didn't register first. All right. There we go. Brightness up, and also my contrast. Bring out these colors, and what I'm trying to do is bring out the light that we just put in, right? The light looks very, very good when you bring your brightness and your contrast up. I'm gonna put this on like 60. We'll put the brightness at 35. This is pretty good. In my example, I don't have a lot of color. The way I got rid of that is I believe it's vibrance. I put my vibrance down, just like so, just to bring the color tone down, but I still want that glow that I get from when I put the brightness up for my my lights here, right? So I still got that glow, and it also just kind of like tones down all the colors at once, and now we have this kind of effect, like a really moody looking effect, all this cool little background stuff going on here. So pretty much that's like the background part, right? If you want to, you can kind of like fit a little bit more with like color corrections, but I don't want to really do much of that. If you want to, you know, I don't know, beats me. If you do whatever the heck you guys want to do. Like basically all this was all for the layering and all for like the displacement and all like the little blurs and stuff that we did, just to like give ourselves like a really dope background. I can show you guys the process, just what we did in the tutorial, right? This is what we had in the beginning. This is what we have now, which is freaking awesome. And if I want to, I'll show you guys why not. Like one by one, what we did here. Doom. Right? And it looks very good. So, with that being done, the text is now here. So why not? I'll just do the same thing I did before. And I'll type in banner. Put that down to 0. And I need to make sure I have that font. So I'm just gonna like hide that really quickly, just so I don't forget that font name, because I'm probably gonna forget. And I'm gonna put type in banner again. I'm going to go ahead and use Warbrush for my little brush font here. I'm going to put this on like a nice little white from this banner design, like an offset white, kind of like an offset orangey tint you can see here. Put it up maybe a little bit. I'll go ahead and press OK. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to rasterize the word banner. That way I can cut this out. So I'm going to take my pen tool and I'm going to cut out the last 3 letters of this little font here. Right click on it, make selection with the pen tool. Press OK. You don't have to do this, but this is kind of like how I want to do it. Right when I pressed OK, I right-clicked and layer via cutted. So you can see I went like this, layer via cut, while the banner is selected. And now we have 2 different layers of the same text, right? We have BAN as one part and NER as the other part. I'm just going to take Control-T and I'm kind of like just, you know, give it a little bit of a little twist or whatever, but make sure that word banner is still there. Like you can still see it obviously, and like, it's not like that, right? That's just, what the hell does it say? Perfect, right? Group this together, we'll call it banner. And we'll also just change the color. That way we know what the heck's going on here. So there's banner, and then for the word design, I wanted to have the other font here, which is like Gil Sans that I showed you guys in the beginning. And design. Oops. There we go. And then for the design color, we'll make it like... That's not a bad color right there. Alright, put a pretty big text here. And for this, we're just going to go ahead... Let me find the middle really quick. Excuse me. This is pretty close to the middle. There we go. So I'm just going to take my text here. Pretty good size, decent size here. The word banner is just a little bit too big for me. I'm going to shrink it a little bit with Control-T and free transforming it. Turn it a little bit. Bring it down here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut the word banner out of the word design. And it's going to be like a very simple little effect here. So I'm going to group this banner word together, Control-E. If I want to, I'll just make a duplicate of it with Control-J and then Control-E, so I can have this as a backup. But I want to make sure I can select the thumbnail of the word banner here. So I'm going to do is a whole Control, and then click on the thumbnail of the word banner, or whatever your word you have overlaid, and make sure that this is where I want it. That's fine. Control click on it, and I can go to Select, Modify, Expand by 5 pixels, press OK, and as you can see, the selection of the word banner is now a little bit more expanded. And if I click on the word design, rasterize the word really quickly, right? Rasterize the word design, which is right here. I click on the word design, the layer design, press delete on my keyboard, and it'll select and delete that we just had like the word banner selected. It deletes like basically a nice little cool like cutout of the word out of the word design. So very simple little effect, and it doesn't really ruin the text. You can still see the word says design. If you struggle with that, sorry, like I don't know, like it just says design to me still, but also leaves space and like kind of like this cool like conjunction of 2 words together. It looks good. So if you want to do something else like this, you could. I did a lot of stuff with this little text here. Pretty much I just kind of like copied like my other tutorial, like my what did I call it? What did I say in the beginning? oh, the scrapbook text effect, where I kind of like put squares around different layers or other letters and stuff like that. And also what I did was I took like, you know, a texture and put it over like the word. And this is the reason why I put like the banner offset white and not like pure white. That way I can do this. I can just put like a nice little texture above the word. I'll just clipping mask it, right? Right click clipping mask. It's above the word banner. I'm going to make sure that this is actually black and white. So rasterize the layer of the image. Control U to bring up this thing. Take out the saturation. And then lower the opacity down a little bit. And then we have like the word banner with a nice little simple texture on it. I can do the same thing with the word design. Which I can also do is basically what I did was I went put a new layer below the entire text and stuff. I used my pen tool. Kind of like followed around with like straight lines. Something like this. And I'll do like that. This doesn't have to be like super, you know, perfect or whatever. Like straight. I didn't do anything straight here. Put it on like a nice little black maybe. Like fill it in with black. And all I can do is put this normal to color, I believe, and actually make it black and white. You can black and white there. Now it looks pretty cool, right? What I also did was I made another new layer. I went ahead and put like a cool little elliptical here, like elliptical circle. And I filled it in with black. Also put that on color, right? You can do that. You can do a lot of freaking other things. Like to finalize this out and not like drag this tutorial out, and you know, this is like basically it, right? This is it. It looks really freaking dope. What I basically did to finalize it was put another nice little new layer on top of everything. Use a nice little soft brush. And I say little, you guys keep like quoting me on like how I say little brush when I just like the word little, okay? And I changed my foreground color to white, right? We're gonna use a big soft brush, pretty big diameter to actually make my brush smaller and bigger without actually right clicking or like going up here. Is I'm holding Alt, Control and Alt, and then I'm right clicking and then moving my mouse left and right. That's all I'm doing. I'll put a nice little white brush right on the top of everything, and then to finalize it, put like a nice little brightness and contrast. And there we go. So, there it is. It looks freaking dope when you guys start working with the text a little bit more. So if I just want to show you guys, like, it's not like a big difference. This is what I did for myself, right? Pretty, you know, a lot of time was spent on this. I did also put like a red, like a nice little red besides orange brushes that we did for the example, right? Like over here we did only orange kind of brushes. I put a nice little red brush there. It made it look pretty good, but there's not like too big of a difference. The effects is there. It's just like the lighting was just not there up to par, but it's just because I didn't use like too many reds. If I really want to, I could go back in there, take my brush, find a red, and we'll put a little bit of red there. Why not? Linear dodge add. Alright, we need like a harsher red. Maybe something like that. And we'll put that red there. Linear dodge add, and there we go. You can just, you know, fiddle around with a little bit if you guys want to, right? It's just all about the lighting and stuff afterwards, like, you know, to get that cool texture. And also putting like a finalized like texture above everything is not a bad idea either. So I hope you guys enjoyed. It's just like, I know also I did say like last week that I wanted to show you guys something like in my real life kind of thing, what I have going on here. But I'm gonna leave it another week. I know people who actually listen to the end of my videos and like, yo, what the heck is he talking about? I said last video that I'm gonna show you guys something that I got, and I want to show you guys, and it's freaking awesome. But I wanted to make sure it's perfect and as good as hell before I show you guys. I'm not gonna tell you what it is. Maybe you guys like probably tell when I say things, but I don't know. I'm gonna show you guys next week. I just want to look. I want it to look good. I want it to be ready. Okay, that's it. So thank you guys so much for watching. We are currently at, what are we at? 55. 350 subscribers, so that's freaking awesome. Thank you guys so freaking much. Also, the views have been coming in, like the support. Last video did freaking awesome. I didn't really expect that as well. I freaking love you guys. Thank you guys so much. Don't forget to check the description down below for any displacement maps and stuff like that. Check out my Twitter. Follow me on Twitter at SesoHQ for any like, you know, cool little updates. Maybe I tweet something out and maybe like a live stream or something like that. I haven't done one in a while, so I'm probably gonna do it really soon. Don't forget to check out my Sellfy, sellfy.com/SesoHQ. For any packs as low as $5. Also, you can include the everything pack. For one purchase of $30, you get everything in my store, and anything that comes out of my store will be emailed to you for free. Pretty cool. So if you guys have the everything pack and you guys want my texture pack, you guys won't actually have to buy the texture pack. It'll just be emailed to you, and you're good to go. So thank you guys so much. I love you guys. I'll talk to you guys later. Seso out. Peace.